Okay, welcome guys. What are we on? The 23rd of the 7th. I thought we'd have a contributors meeting or just an open meeting, to be honest with you, because we haven't done one for a wee while. And I know quite a few have been quite busy doing other things. So tonight or this evening or to this morning, it depends on where you are, Beatrice. I know it's probably quite early for you and later for others. I thought I'd just open it up and just do one, run it and see where we are, see what input there is and see just open it up so we can have a speak together, see where everybody is. So there is no agenda to this one. It's nice and straightforward. Over to whoever wishes to start, whoever wishes to say something, whoever's got something to share, and we'll see where this goes from there. Welcome everybody, by the way. Or is there nobody going to start? Beatrice, would you like to start?
I would like to start because I have a subject that I try to speak for a couple of weeks, days. Practically, I'm already speaking, but with few people, not with everyone, and this is very important. So from Gesara Nesara, a little bit some news from the US Marine. They send us the information that we are already under the martial law, and this martial law, it's a sort of martial law that does not require the military on the street. So they may be on the forest, but not on the street. They are anyway somewhere, and they are saying that this is about the good military because it's about the white hats, and they have very good intention practically to change the system and to help the people on the side of the people to change the system. Right now, so they are saying that they are covered by the military law to do that. And the discussion, I follow also the discussion inside the video that were presented. The discussion are towards that when they will put enough, not pressure, because the pressure there is again, enough through the quantum financial system on the banks, but the banks does not want to implement the QFS. So practically they gave to the banks 2 dates until now, and the banks were not comfortable with the QFS, and they want to move forward with the digital currency. Right now, practically they are under the 3rd term, and we do not know what will be their decision. I would like to address some, because this is worldwide, so this is not only Canada and the United States. They may seem more developed in the United States and Canada, but this is worldwide. And practically, I would like to address some comments here, because also it is about the money, how the people think. So the people think, if I will have the money from Gesara Nesara, then I will be not working, not at all. Or I will have 1 million in I do not know how much time, then anyway, I will be not working because it's not necessary. So it is very necessary to work inside of the system. It's not for money, it's for all of us, because we need all of us. But the problem is in which system you are working. Because if you are working in the capitalist system in 40 hours per week, and if you are working for private company that practically kill the people, and for private company that are not doing the good necessary for the population, and they are still conserving their way with food infection and everything that they are doing, this is not a system that is changed. And your time that you spend as work time, it's not the time that you need to spend there. Practically, you do not need to spend, you need to build something else. And also a little bit about the decision, because all the time I started to hear about do not harm us law, but practically this is not law. This is the principle of do not harm. This is a universal principle that is part of the universal natural law. What it is very important when we are speaking complete as universal natural law and principle of do not harm, what it is the difference when we are saying only the law of do not harm. When we are saying only the law of do not harm, this could be extremely good, for example, for medical health or everything, but this has not inside the autonomy that is giving you through the universal natural law. So if you still conserve the common law or something like, but you are saying, I will insert this principle somehow, and I will say also do not harm. So this kind of combination, or it's not in the good direction. So you need to have only the principle of do not harm if you are saying the law of do not harm, but also recognize at the same time inside of the system the true universal natural law, because it's the only one that bring you the 100% system, autonomy system. And this is extremely important because this touch the power of decision, because right now inside of the power of decision, what it is there? When the people that wanted to allow for the people, for example, some money, and they started to hear, few of them, they wanted only to collect the money, then they will become rich and they will be not working or something like. Their power of decision, it's like, then I will put a condition and this money may depend on the job. What kind of the job? Because inside of this system, 80% of the jobs are not practically on the way for the people, are on the way for this system, pyramid system and everything. So practically you go still inside of the same pyramid system, you are still inside of, and there it's not your power of decision, because by the end this money are supposedly coming from human trafficking. You cannot have a condition inside of human trafficking for the money to be paid for, because practically they want to give you this money because of the birth certificate and everything that it's under the birth certificate, it's practically human trafficking. So they have no idea, and they have the power of the decision on their hand, because you have not the system. And much more than that, when they are coming and they are saying, we will come even with technology and everything, will be this technology free for everyone, especially after everything that happened, especially after 2020? How can they bring free technology if they have this question right now, if they can pay you or not? And practically, if you receive this money forced on a job, the job is still not a fraction of time, it's all the time the 40 hours, and has to be a fraction of time in time, but you have not a system that give you the possibility to have unlimited money on the back of the project, and you are all the time if the other will decide. So practically, when you have not the system, the GPMS.org, you have not the power of decision. And the power of decision, it's everything and can be the key for any kind of start. And practically right now, they are saying that they depend on the banks, if the banks allow or not the QFS to happen. If the banks do not allow, then the money inside of the banks for the population will be lost, and nobody will cover this money. And you have not the system to back you with unlimited money and everything and power of decision. So I'm not saying that the people that they are doing that, they want to do something very good for humanity and for everyone everywhere in the world. But just I try to say, when the system, the GPMS.org is not in place, you still have not the power of decision, and the other will decide all the time for you, and you will be affected. And also you have not, the most important, the unlimited money on the back of the project. And everything that is coming, it's coming still inside of a capitalist system, where practically the big corporation and everything will take a lot of money, and practically you are still working for a lot of hours, and it's not giving to the population by the end your effort and your work. It's giving to few people that are still in the position to have these big companies and everything. So I was a little bit under this discussion, and I try to move forward also a little bit in the United States, also with few people in Canada and Romania. They started to understand what I'm saying, because practically we are a race that do not pay for living. We are the human race. It's a race that it's very, very rich. It's just everything depends on us just to say yes to gpms.org. And after that, we have all the world, we have all the earth. So we become instantly very, very rich with unlimited money. Any project for the people can be backed and can start, and it's given to the people free. Everything that we produce. So practically, this is a correct system where your time that you spend inside of a project where the number of the people that will benefit from the project will benefit directly. You do not need to spend more time to work for somebody else that will take by the end a profit and will be all the time few. So it's not about the private corporation. It's about the project where we spend our time, more or less 40 hours or something like from the beginning until we have the new technology in place. And this will give us the possibility to spend less and less time. And practically all our time will be inside of a project that all the population benefits, or a few part of the population for that community benefits, but they benefit directly and for all your work, not a partial work. And after that, other kind of fraction of your work will depend on an actionary or somebody that will take money and will take profit from other people working. So this is extremely important. This capitalist mentality that is inside of the people, and this long hours working time that the people work, and they believe that they have to work as long as possible. No, you need to work on a project. You need to develop a project for your community, and there you will spend your time. It does not matter how much, because you want to have this done, and this is extremely necessary, or it's an emergency. But practically, when the GPMS system start and the technology start to enter and everything inside of GPMS, you'll have the possibility to, by the end, to start to work only a fraction of time, not to be overworking, and practically all the benefits to be not necessary directly to the people in hand of you again. Thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful, sister. Just to say a couple of things on the back of that. This white hat military is not worldwide. It's not further than a story. I know what's being developed and what's being stated, and them asking the banks to implement a quantum financial system which doesn't exist. And the banks refusing. It's not surprising, because this is the lower timeline and it's suppressing humanity on that lower timeline, but all of it's stories, and it's a continuation of the story. There's very relatively quite a few that heard of Nizara Jizara or QFS. When you look at the global population, most of Africa, most of India, they've got no idea that these things are out there, because they're not even connected to the internet. In fact, 2.7 billion, I've been told, have no internet access at all. So these ones wouldn't have even heard of these things, no matter it be the solution. So with regards to a lot of the westernized media and the westernized alternative media input, it's a very small market that this is being actually propagandized to, that are in this position of waiting and hoping for a solution from this white hat military, even though it is getting out there a little bit more. I'll give you, Brother Rick is speaking to the Romanian faction, and they've got there's none of this there, none of it at all. In the white hat side of that, there's no implementation of military law, not martial law. It's not happening. So, but again, I know that it's being purported that this is ongoing, and it keeps people carrot on a stick, waiting for this to occur, which isn't going to occur. And as the banking system is rolling out the CBDC and oppressing and suppressing and printing out more and more and more money for the MIC to import more and more weaponry, to give more and more propaganda to the people, what it's doing is creating more and more awakening, more and more wondering what's going on, and more looking for a solution that's outside of that existing system. And of course, this is what you're talking to with GPMS, as opposed to all of the offerings within the system that maintain the system. And once people, again, it's becoming very, very evident right now that a lot of people are dying. A lot of people are leaving or dying, whatever, because of certain things that's happened over the last couple of years, which again is waking up a lot more, and a lot more of this information is coming out too right now, which again is pushing and pressing that lower timeline. So what we are currently in is a bifurcation, a reconvergence timeline, where there is a separation and a split. There is a lowering of the consciousness, and there is a lowering and a dipping into that lower timeline, and there is more and more pressure being put on it, and there's more and more rising. So there is a definite, it's a split within the individual and within the collective right now, and we're seeing it playing out. So these fear narratives, these lack narratives, these scarcity narratives, these authority narratives, where they've got the authority and the people have none, are being hyper sensationalized onto the lower timeline. And there's lots that are just sat watching it. And more will be sat watching it that are involved with this. So as we're moving forwards, I love what you're saying, and it's very passionate, but it is for a section of what's ongoing. It's not for all, and there's a lot more that are moving through that are lifting up, even though we don't necessarily see them yet. And it's beautiful to see India. The numbers are increasing in India quite considerably, and obviously with 1.4 billion brothers and sisters in India, that's a significant movement forward. We're also seeing, for instance, the same in the Philippines, where I am, or we are. Where these factions that are purporting to have solutions are losing their followers, because the leaders are, let's say, fundamentally self-serving, which we've seen from the corporations. They're fundamentally self-serving. Their egoic requirements and their needs and desires are being fulfilled, but it's becoming more and more difficult for them. So they're coming up with more and more let's say, devious ways to try to manipulate ones into remaining in their fellowship. But they're not. They're seeing past it, and they're looking for different solutions. And that's causing fractions to split. And of course, that causes more to split, and the ripples go out. So what we're seeing is a breaking down of the old structures, of the old corporate structures. We're seeing more and more that aren't going to work, more and more that don't want to go to work, more and more seeing through the facade, seeing through the masquerades, seeing through the storylines, and splitting. So as much as it's impassioned what you're saying, my beautiful sister, it's still a waking up of these ones there as they're being squashed more and more and more. And what they're purporting is happening really, really isn't. And there is no solution within the old. It doesn't matter what stories are being pushed around. There just is no solution within the old. And the old is imploding just the same as the egoic leaderships are. Their storylines are falling apart. Their followers are leaving. Their narratives are imploding because of the energetics that are rising up. So as we rise in the frequency, all of these negativities are imploding in upon themselves. And so many are trying to hold on to their own storylines and their own egoic needs that it's just creating more and more implosion. It's beautiful to see. It's tedious to watch. It's ongoing, but nevertheless, I just wanted to add that to what you said.
Yes, and practically I started to put this question inside of the United States to the people. And I said, okay, so if you have a GPMS system and you know that you will go to work and you will work for yourself, would you like to receive the money as depending if you are working or not, or would you like to receive the money for free because you exist? And practically you'll go to work anyway because you want to see what happened with all of us. And the answer almost for everyone but it is a very small portion of the people, that practically a very extremely small percentage that I touch until now, but I will continue with this question. So the answer for the people, it was, if we have everything for us, we come and we are working because it is for us. So the people, I'm extremely sorry. So if percentage of the people think right now, because they are inside of a capitalist system, oh, if I receive money for free, I will remain at home. Yes, because when we are working inside of the society, we are not working for us, for we the people. This is the reason. But when the system it's craft on the way that practically they are coming and they understand that they depend on what they are doing, so practically the people are coming. There will be not a problem. And it's like for the question, like if I'll give to the people tomorrow money, what will happen, for example, with the hospital and everyone, because I cannot keep the doctors. So yes, you can keep the doctors from the beginning, because you can say, okay, for some people that are extremely necessary in the place, they need to remain until they can be replaced, and open a list and ask the people what will be, who wants to work for free to replace the other one that is not able to remain on the job for the moment. And you will find out that the people will come, because practically the people right now, they are working to pay bills and nothing else. And practically they are not working for true money, because many people are poor. It's a huge percentage of the population that practically they are working only to cover their expenses. And they are not even, and they have also problem month to month, and they have children and everything. And there are also many families that they wanted to have another child, but it's not possible because of the money and because of the material condition, because everything is limited, because the resources are limited for us on this system imposed by law. So practically we are going exactly how you are saying. It's service for others versus serving for themselves. So this is exactly the issue, and this is the reason that the people do not want to come to work inside of a capitalist system, but they want to work for free inside of a system that is really for the people, as gpms.org.
This is the thing about it. What to do? We've had this conversation many times. You've been many times with this conversation about people wondering what's going to happen, and the value system is going to change. It already is changing, but the value system will change, and it won't be about money. It's not about needing money. It never was. This was imposed upon humanity. So this concept of having to work for money will be released, and it is being released right now because of the way the beautiful thing the capitalistic system has done for humanity is show everybody that this doesn't work. It never did. It was an oppressive, malevolent, evil system that has no root in benevolence or equality at all. So the value systems will change, and people will look at doing what they value as opposed to what makes them money. And therefore the respect, if you want, or the what is looked at as a beneficial job, doctor, but in a new sort of way, artist, it doesn't matter, nurse, technician, anything like this. People will want to do that because it's actually got value, but an intrinsic value. It fulfills something much more than your bank account. It actually carries something that has a use. It's beneficial, not just to your bank account, but to humanity as a whole. It's something that you are passionate about, something that you enjoy and love, as opposed to something that you must do to satisfy your bills. This whole concept is going to change within the human environment and the human playground. And it's necessary for humanity to see that. So this playing out of what's being played out right now is showing everybody exactly what that system is doing, has done, and will do if it's maintained. It has no benefit to humanity. It just maintains the few in a position and keeps everybody else on the hamster wheel. And as much as many are still clamoring to be on that hamster wheel, many, many more aren't. The more that we get that aren't, the more that see GPMS, the more that impacts the collective, the more we'll be able to see it. And this is why, again, I speak to India, I speak to the Philippines, I speak to even China now with the numbers growing there. In the East, the Africa, in different places in Africa now, picking up the numbers because these aren't westernized. These have got no idea and concept of the capitalistic system necessarily. Yes, they've been indoctrinated slightly into it, but it's not the same. So what we're talking about in one part of the world is not comparative to what we're talking about in the other. And the other, the East is, and certainly Africa as well, is starting to move. The West is still a little bit stagnant in trying to clamber onto that wheel. But many over here have got no money. They've got no anticipation of ever having money. They've got no ability to work. So it's not like they can get onto the wheel. And they're just trying to do anything they can to survive. And this isn't about survival anymore. This is about thriving. This is about moving to a society that's civilized, not uncivilized. This is about removing those savage ideas of having to work for money inside a corporate system. So we are seeing it breaking down, and we are seeing that movement towards a more value-based, and I don't like to use the words economy, but a value-based lifestyle as opposed to a necessity for money into your bank account, and that's what gets you through. So it's all progressing, even though we can see the bits and pieces that are stagnant, if we will. Has anybody else got anything they'd like to say on all of that?
So Mariana already, she said, and I see also comments inside of chat that the people should continue, because everything that they said there, it's amazing.
People should continue.
Yes, to say exactly what they wrote, because the people cannot read the comments, so we should read the comments.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Amazing. For example, Mariana said, yep, no more conventional hospital, schools, government, military, police, economics. Nothing involving the world system can continue. Very true.
All of it must implode, because all of it is based in malevolence. All of it's based in lies. All of it's based in untruths, and all of it maintains a system that is top heavy, let's say, at best, top heavy at best. Mike, you got your hand up, brother.
Yeah. Am I coming through loud and clear?
Yeah.
Awesome. So there's a lot of things I want to talk about, really. However, unfortunately, at this stage right now, the previews outweigh the reviews. So I'm going to try and keep it to things I definitely know and things that definitely are at the moment. Just speaking on the military side of things, I mean, I've been networking with a lot of people recently and new people coming into my reality, and some old people that I used to know coming in. There is things going on in the military. This Jazara thing is a wrapping, basically. It's an aesthetic. It's, as Lee says, it's a story, but that doesn't mean nothing's happening. There is some things happening. But the way I liken it is it's the struggles of the Titans. It's all it is to do with the Titans world. It's not really got anything to do with our world. Let the Titans do their thing, and we'll crack on and do ours. That will resolve itself. But in the meantime, in order so people don't quote unquote crap themselves, they just wrap it in Jazara and these like stories. It just makes it more comfortable. People are Hollywoodized. People like a Hollywood story. It's okay. It's a comfort blanket. Let it be. Just let it be. So working on a system. When can we start? We can start working without the system. Yes, we can, and it has started. There's a couple of projects I'm engaged with at the moment, and I'm trying to bring them all together, and they are pretty much all underneath the GPMS umbrella now. And this is the practical side of building GPMS, building the administration, but building things on the ground that we can say have a tangibility that we can now look to as members of GPMS. And when people say, well, what are you doing about it? we're doing this, and we can point to it. So me and some beautiful souls are on that now. I did sort of flippantly promise Rick about a month ago that when he asked me if I could bring 2 billion people to GPMS, I said, give me 2 to 3 months, brother. I wasn't being flippant at the time. I'm well on the way from the boots on the ground side of these things. I would like to take this opportunity to encourage anybody listening who's part of GPMS, who isn't part of GPMS, who is about to be part of GPMS, to come over to the GPMS AI group and start attending those meetings. A lot of these things Beatrice is talking to, in essence, we were talking about the relief of pressure, resources. I've got to pay these bills. I've got to, because you want pressure relief. Okay, so what can you do? Come to me. We'll see how we can leverage that with AI that's available, and it's not going to take over the world and be Terminator. It's not going to turn your laptop into Terminator. Okay, so just come over and see some of the tools you can use, and we can get rid of some of that pressure immediately. Maybe not all of it, but we can get well on the way. I can show you that, and just the knowing that that's on its way will relieve pressure as well. Don't ever underestimate that. So that's things we can do now. There are things we can do now, and that are being done. I'm sort of building together a team, networking people, connecting people. I think if I am correct, I think I am, what I've got here with some of these amazing souls who are just appearing left, right, and center is the beginnings of the physical network, the physicality side of GPMS. We started to see that in Asia with Thailand, Philippines, the people waking up and coming to it. Jidarat's been doing an amazing job organizing people over there. And I think now the Western team is finally getting its act together. Certainly several individuals who have been divinely drawn together, and things are getting done. Again, previews, not reviews, so I'm not going to go into the details now. Anybody listening to this call who is interested in the details, doesn't mind listening to reviews, reach out to me, and I will have a conversation with you separately, and I will also get you included in the meetings of what's going on now. So that all said, just as a snippet, I think we can have within the next 2 or 3 months very tangible, realistic locations and villages, if you will, that people in GPMS can start to come together in. I think we're now at the stage where we can say, right, we have enough people on the same page, we have enough brain power, we have enough resources. All we need now is coordination, and we can start to actually build something instead of just talk about how to manage that thing over there, which is falling and collapsing. So yeah, I'll take a deep breath now and step back. Thank you, brother.
All good, my friend. All
Michael,
good. Just one
Michael,
thing.
Michael, just to add something, because you said that you are working on this direction because the people cannot see the wealth. Is true. I have a lot of problem to explain them that we are extremely rich. So this information should be shared all over the internet. We are extremely rich, and everything depends on us practically to start to know that. And practically, this will be also how can I say, another piece that will create like a movement for GPMS.org, because the people are not able to understand that they are rich. This is extremely important because the people are still inside of the system, and they can see only the lack of the money, lack of the resources, lack of everything. They are not able to understand that we are rich, and this is just oppressed by the actual system or from somebody. So this information should be seen all over the internet. Thank you so much.
It will, but this is the point. It's like all we've been able to offer really up to now is words. If we're being realistic about this, words, and the hope that we can give those words in such a way as it will inspire inspiration and realization in someone's mind. And it's hit and miss as to whether that will happen or not. I think it will help when we can turn around and go, here's the words, and here's the physical manifestation of those words. You could have a slice of that, or you can continue eating bowls of that. It's up to you, really. So yeah, it's important, and it was inevitable at some point we would have GPMS would have some form of physical representation of its ideals and its principles, living, breathing, tangible to those who need to see things before they believe things. And that's fine. It's okay. I don't mind doing that because we're going to be doing that anyway. So we might as well get started now and get ourselves nice and comfortable while everybody else catches up. Nothing wrong with that.
Okay. Let's see. I'm not going to say too much on that, but what I will say is that when you did say about releasing pressure, there is a divine mechanism that is causing pressure on those that require it. So, you know, again, I'm not going to say, you know, whatever happens, happens. And there's also a mechanism as well whereby some don't get it, everybody does at once, or nobody does, which is, again, something that we need to bear in mind a little bit as we move forward. We had this conversation the other day with a guy about him wanting to create bank accounts for 50,000 people and start paying them the 20,000 and the 10,000 per month so that everybody else could see it. It's never going to happen. No. So these concepts, let's see what happens though. These villages ideas and these places where people can meet and coordinate. Excellent. Let's see what goes on with that, brother. I'm looking forward to it. Joe, you had your hand up.
You've already got a house earmarked for you, Lee. Don't worry about it.
Have I? That depends divinely, brother, where I'm supposed to be, my friend.
And also for some area, because some people can say, and I had this discussion for two days already. They are saying, yeah, maybe we can start on this area, and it's not necessary. We will still keep the border. It's not necessary. So if they want to do, they will be doing on their area. So this is not working on this way. So practically, we are one race. We have to reach each other and to help each other everywhere in the world. And you cannot go if the movement is better going forward at this time in one area of the earth. Maybe tomorrow it's will be better in another area, and this will grow and will grow. So everybody will grow, because practically the 100% autonomy system cannot resist if you just close the border and you are doing your 100% autonomy system inside of a small area. Will be such international pressure on you. This cannot resist if you are doing that only there. So practically the people needs also to move with their thinking and idea that we can do something only here, and I care for this place, for my backyard or something like. I cannot care for all the world. So if you are not on the service of others, and if you do not care for all the world, this great project is not working. It's simply not working. So this is another message that I would like for the IT to spread this message on picture, because some of us, we are visual, some they want to hear words, but some of us, we are visual, and maybe sometimes, you know, sometimes maybe a small video or a picture can show up much more than we are speaking today here.
Yeah, one of the other things we've got to bear in mind right now as well is that there. Sorry, Shell, I know you got your hand up. I know you had your hand up, brother. Is that the people need to do this themselves. There is this concept, and I know that that it's going to be done for somebody, and the idea with the other stuff, the comfort blankets, the Nazara Jazaras, and all of these things which keep people there, is being done for them. But there is. See, I can speak in where I am in the Philippines, that they do want, well, there is a requirement for us to go around to see the people. Thank you. And because it's not because they need that, it's because they want it, because they like the idea that somebody else is doing something for them. And so there is this breaking down of the consciousness, which is being done divinely. And in sharing GPMS, if it doesn't go in, it doesn't go in, and that's okay. If it's not going through the people, that's okay. They're not ready for it yet. Let the ones that do get it. And that's who we concentrate on. And that's who we speak with at the moment. And it's in speaking to 100, you may only speak to one, and they might not get it straight away, but that doesn't matter. We are still in that phase of phase one, which is collect the voice. It's not creating anything yet. It's speaking to people and allowing them to share it, disseminating the information. And what Michael's talking to is getting the information onto the internet. Awesome. Awesome. If that's able, if we can get that to the people now via that method, great. But there's still 3 billion plus that haven't got internet, which is half of the population. So there is still the boots on the ground that are walking around and speaking to the ones and sharing it with ones that do understand and do see it. And those ones then ripple it out. So this is still a necessity. We're still in that phase one, collect the voice. Showing people something tangible is wonderful for those that need it, but there's many that don't. There's many that need other things and other ways and other beings to actually share it with them. And the vast majority actually need their own countrymen, not foreigners, sharing it with them. So because it becomes then family, it becomes then more about how many within that country are joining, and that herd mentality starts to take over. So as we see the sort of in the East, let's say, if India keep going like they are and they keep continue, all of a sudden a larger number in India start to create a ripple effect into the Southeast. And the same with China. If they start to pick up, it starts to create that ripple effect through the Southeast, where it's the Southeast now can see that there is something ongoing. There's your tangible. There's figures that are growing in those areas, which create a what's this? It's not fake anymore. But in the West, it's slightly, more sporadic because of the pride and the arrogance. But again, this is just the energetics. Both of those don't go through. They must be released. So the egoic pride and the egoic arrogance and the mockery and scorn and the service to self, all of these must be released as we raise the energetics. Now, I know that many won't necessarily be following the energies. They're not on that path yet, but it's happening. So we can also see that that is working in tandem with what is actually ongoing as well, is all of these lower energies and these lower density energies have to be released for the people to unite. There can't be division and separation. They have to be released. Otherwise, there will be no unity. And we know that unity is coming. So in this aspect, we can release some of the pressure by knowing that whatever the problems on that lower timeline are, the obstacles are, they can't continue. They are being broken down, even though it seems slow or not even evident sometimes. Those lower density energies of anger, grief, shame, blame, and all of these things must leave. So we are seeing that happening, and the growth in the numbers is required for the tangible evidence of that herd mentality or that collective consciousness. But bear in mind the 100th monkey, bear in mind the morphogenetic field, bear in mind the collective is one. As more join, as more get it, as more embody it, the quality that changes the collective consciousness and it makes it more available for the ones that don't see now. They will all of a sudden see it because now it's more available to them in that collective consciousness. But in doing that, they must release their lower consciousness. So again, we're seeing this band moving up, where if you are in fear, if you have got lack, scarcity, if you are dead in service to self, if you have got all of this prideful arrogance and you're walking around with that, or just ignorance and denial, then you're not going to see GPMS. It doesn't matter what's put in front of you, because you can't. This must go first. And that's the squashing. So what Michael's talking to there is perfect with them, the titans fighting each other inside that lower timeline. It's a battle of the evil and the good. The white hats being the good and the evil being all the rest, or whoever it is you want to put in those places in different countries. You've got the good and the evil. The same in every good film. Because Hollywood is what people are used to, and they back the good, and then all of a sudden the good turns bad. It goes upside down again, and a new good turns up. But this is all falling apart. So we are seeing a lot of movement in the energetics of this too. We are seeing that lower energies must be released. We are seeing that happening. We are seeing more unity. We are seeing, Michael will agree, I'm sure, that he is seeing more connection now to more groups than possibly he would have ever considered this early. And that connection is feeding out, and there's more fingers, or there's more tendrils that are going out into, and this networking, as people call it, we are seeing the same. We are seeing a breakdown of the sovereign groups. We're seeing them now more unified, or more able to see GPMS, even if they're not on board yet. We're seeing the breakdown of the freedom fighting groups, as you are too, Beatrice. Even the few followers are leaving. That's enough to see a breakdown. We can micro macro that. There is a collective will to change, even though most don't see it yet. So this is ongoing. Shell, your hand was up, brother.
Amazing, thank you.
You're mute.
Yeah, I just I think it's in my, I just share in terms of my journey with GPMS, because since leaving Scotland to getting here, I've been guided to speak to specific people just in my travels, just walk, like even if I was walking to go and sit somewhere, I went to and sit somewhere on the bench, just started talking to a young fella who was very receptive to what I had to say. And what I told him, and what I think is important when we share about GPMS, is like, because we're so conditioned, we don't know any other system, we don't know it any other way. So like what I say when I'm sharing GPMS, I'm saying, look, obviously think about how the system is, but when you're reading this, feel it with the heart, because you can't, with the mind, you can't contemplate how or when any of this could possibly happen, because you don't know anything different. So if you feel it with the heart, and see how it feels for you with your heart, and that's how I'm sharing the news about GPMS. And at the end of the day, I do believe that it doesn't matter. Like, I know that it's planting a seed. At the end of the day, somewhere else is going to come along. They're going to hear, if they haven't heard it, if they maybe forget about it, somewhere else is going to come along and talk about it eventually, and it's gonna spark a seed, something that, oh, I remember that guy. He spoke about it. Yeah, I have to see what this is about more so, But I think, we think too much with the mind. If we're thinking too much with the mind, we're never going to actually grasp this concept. Where it's a very heartfelt thing, and it's what we need to feel like we've been lied to in terms of wealth. And this is where we need to speak to people. Like, you're basing your wealth on a system that's driven by money. Your wealth is about how you feel about yourself. If you don't know that, well, then you're always going to be poor. And so I talk into that more so as well when I'm talking about GPMS, because it's about inner healing. Like, the kingdom of heaven for me, even for everybody, starts here internally. So, I think consciously, as we go and working through that collectively with GPMS, with our own demons, level by level, the system is unstoppable, because there's no way that the divine creator created a earth for us to exist the manner in which we do. That's just it's not contemplatable to me. When having come across GPMS and reading it, it's so heartfelt for me that I'm like, like, there's no other way. This has to be the way that it has to be, because like, poverty is despicable. It really is the way it is. I mean, to have some people, right, not have sanitary, not have running water, and like all of those things, we know this, but those are those people, those are luxuries to some people. How's that right? And that's what I speak into a lot when it comes to poverty, because because it's the major thing that it's just has people thinking they don't have enough.
Beautiful, brother. Now, again, the levels of consciousness that we need to speak to are varied. So yeah, many
Absolutely.
will speak to different things, and not everybody's spiritual. Not everybody's following
Absolutely.
a spiritual pathway yet, to any degree.
Absolutely.
Or whatever they are. So again, we need well, not need. It's inevitable that many will speak to all sorts of different levels of consciousness and give them
Absolutely.
what they need to see to release the old, the old
No,
concepts.
absolutely that. I mean, I just spoke to a guy, not randomly. I just ended up being in a bar, which was quite nice. But I ended up speaking to him, met a guy there, and he didn't believe in God at all. And I was like, amazing. I just had this conversation, completely different concepts and perspectives, and we had one of the best conversations ever. But and to have very different perspectives, but it's exactly that. It's like it's about shifting whatever he needed to in having the conversation that I did with him. And obviously I shared about GPMS, which got him thinking.
Yeah, but the thing about it, to me, it's not, you don't need to believe in anything. Well, I mean, it does
No,
help, but the common ground is the kicker. Can you get a common
exactly.
ground? Would it be free and a life where you're not stressed and your children and your grandchildren and your grandchildren are all free? Is that what you would like? Of course it is, and that's speaking to the heart. But
Yeah,
then
but
all the
it's talking to the
complications come.
individual. Obviously, it's talking to what appeals to the individual in GPMS.
So we tailor it, each time. This
Yeah.
is the thing about sharing it. This is the way, as more and more share it, they tailor it to who they are speaking to, and the cultural differences, the belief system differences. Doesn't matter. It's all tailored to that consciousness to raise it into a autonomy as big.
You know what I've found?
Well,
It's
Mike.
quite interesting. It's quite interesting actually. Recently, especially in the last 3-4 weeks, I found that the less I talk about GPMS, the more people I get interested in GPMS. And what I mean
Aha.
by that, what I mean by that is, so I'm cracking on doing the things I'm doing for GPMS and for the inception of that, and laying down, the practical groundwork of it, networking with people, and in having the conversations I'm having with people remotely online. We'll be talking about this one thing that's really cool and great, and this other thing that's really cool and great, and then I'll say, as a guardian of GPMS, this is going to help me with that, and then I'm going to do this and that and that, and they say, "What? Stop! What did you just say? What do you mean about this?" No, the guardian of GPMS. Oh, right, yeah, GPMS. Yeah, it's just a movement that's essentially it's a worldwide vote. It's the first attempt at a worldwide referendum just to get everybody to agree that we need to change. Yeah. Oh, can I have a look at that? Yeah, sure. Here it is. It's wgpms.wealth. Just have a look and have a read. All you got to do really is sign it, and then you're contributing. All right, cool. Yeah, I'll have a look at that. Amazing. And then carry on with the conversation.
It's
That's
common
pretty
ground.
much how I found
That's
it's been
amazing.
going, and that's the best way to do it. It's like
Amazing.
I don't know if it's. I mean, the old me would have worried if I was manipulating people, trying to get do the tricky sell to them, but I'm not really. Literally, I've just it comes naturally. I'm not trying to do that. It's just that that's how I now structure my conversation. I don't make it the centerpiece. I make it a side, something that I know is my core mission, but I'm not going to put that onto other people straight away. But it will reveal itself in the course of my discussions with them. It has
Exactly
to.
that.
If something is that at the core of what you're doing, at some point it will reveal itself naturally through conversation. But you don't have to force it. You can just have the conversation about what you're having the conversation about. It will find its way out, and when it does, it now all of a sudden, instead of being like an evangelist or a Jehovah's Witness knocking on your door, now it's an interesting neon light down a particular alley that it's just caught your attention. And human nature being human nature, we will keep the door closed on the Jehovah's Witness, but we will definitely go and check out what that neon light is. It's just the
Find the common
psychology
ground.
you're dealing with. So fine, deal with it, use it, have fun with it, play with it. Don't obviously abuse it, but be aware of it and laugh and enjoy it when it happens, and make the most of it.
Find the common.
Amazing.
Beautiful. Beatrice, you got your hand up.
Yeah, so practically, I wanted to tell to Michael also, because yesterday it was an IT meeting, GPMS. I was inside for the meeting to speak for the app, GPMS app. This was the reason also, no, but also to see your team and the hard work there. I was not able to remain until the end to speak about that. I'm so sorry, because it was another meeting, GPMS in Romania, but Eric is there, but what I want to say,
Don't worry
we
about it.
really need two apps, one for adults, one for children, GPMS apps for computers and for cell phone. Thank you so much. Do not forget, and this is extremely important. Also, I see a little bit the pressure from my son that he would like to see some news. He would like to see something from GPMS coming. So this will be amazing for the children, and this will start to preoccupy also the parents. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that'll be a good thing, an app that keeps people updated. So there's many said about how are you going to continue? Do you send emails out and newsletters? And of course, we can't do that. But an app that's downloadable where you can be maintained. Oh yes, and these things are inevitable. So
And if
awesome.
we make it Web3 as well, it will be that'll just add that extra layer of independence and sovereignty.
We're actually speaking to a few from Web3 as well. I'm sure you are too, Mike. Over here, networking with a few and introducing, opening up the internet. I dropped Nick into. Did Nick turn up into the meeting yesterday from Thailand? Yeah. So he's now getting more involved. Beautiful. Mariana.
Oh yes, we've been having a lot of discussions with Nick as well. Yeah, don't worry about it. Yeah.
so did we for a bit. Yeah, I'm glad he's with you now. I'm glad he's speaking with you, brother, at the moment. That'll be perfect. Mariana.
He likes to talk like we do, Mike.
No.
Oh yeah. Yes.
People are not talkative in this group. What do you mean, Jean? Yeah, I was talking because when I was listening to you, I was thinking about this, also looking at it as a film, you know, and the pride that Westerners hold because they think that they achieve so much with the reputation of the certificates and the titles and all the knowledge that they have, and now it's like they don't know how not to be that. And I remember myself like a long time ago that I was speaking with people and I was, what do you mean you're not sending, you know, your child to school? You have to go. You need the general knowledge. And it was just, you know, sucking just pieces of information that has nothing to do with what reality is. And then when you realize that everything is like much more crazy and magical, and of course my soul signed up for this, so I felt my progression was like pretty rapidly, but I can see in others like that fear when you talk to Westerners about GPMS and they're like, well, what do you mean? And 1,000 questions comes in, like, what are we going to do with the banks? Like, what are going to do with children if they don't go to school? Like, so many questions. I have a lot like to first to break down, and the best thing that we can do is leave them with this seed and with more questions, like, why do you feel this has to be like this? Like the last time I went to the Central Police Department in Argentina, I was like, really, why do you think that we need so many laws? Yeah, when it's just do no harm. It's like super simple, everybody can understand it. So yeah, but then more in the Easterner, and that's then what the Westerners have to say, like this thing about embodiment. That is like, first you get the news, that is what we saw in every hero's journey, in every movie that we've seen, like in The Never Ending Story, one of my favorites, when it's like, yes, Sebastian, you are the one. Each one of us is the one. We must
You're not allowed to have heroes'
believe
journeys
that.
in films anymore.
Oh, well, I don't watch any new movies or new music for that matter. I'm kind of an oldies girl, but it's amazing how once you embody, it's not like that easy to say, oh, so I really can do something about it. And in the last meeting that we had in Philippines, because we see also that this problem, we see it more like in the adult population, you know, the working productive population, because they don't know what to do with themselves. Like, it's like, oh, it's like recalculating, you know, it's kind of difficult for them, but not for the children at all. And the last meeting that we had in a neighborhood called Santa Lucia here in Philippines, I had one of the brothers with us. He said, oh, they're mostly elder people, a lot of elder women. And I was like, awesome. those are the grandmothers, those are the mothers, those are the people that have time, that when they get excited about something, because you know, you always say what we do with the elders in this materialistic paradigm, they are useless at this part of their lives. You know, they just go and get their retirement fund and just survive. So now when I saw like the hope in a lot of them, like saying, oh, now we can do something. Now I know what we can do with our time and everything. And in with just that meeting, I know it's not like super huge, but we got like almost 1,000 consents in 3 days. So it was kind of like moving. And it's also a population that I think you must not discard, also to talk to the elders, that if they can see it, we can see that all of the elders, they are like kind of square, that they cannot understand this new stuff, but a lot of them, they do. So it's another population also that is very nice, like to target, because those are the ones that do the mouth to mouth. And in the afternoons, they go to another neighbor's house and then talks to the daughter and then talks to the other one, and the children listen. And that's also what's going to spread it, as I'm not that technological in AI and everything yet. We'll get there. I still like write everything like with pencil and stuff. So thank you for the Michael and all those that can manage it, because we all have like different roles, and that's also a thing to transmit. You all have different roles, like this new role that you can have now, and it was truly wonderful to see like that excitement with the elders. They would not leave the place after we finished. So it was wonderful. And we ran out of cards. Every time we have a meeting, we run out of cards. So amazing, just that.
Beautiful. Brother Dean, you got your hand up, my friend. You have to unmute. Yeah.
Hi, guys. How you doing? Yeah, I'm just wondering, Beatrice, I'm just going to ask Beatrice a question. What's going on with the sovereign groups? Are they starting to come together a little bit more, or are they still clashing with each other? Because obviously we're on the other side of the consciousness over here. It's a little bit different in Philippines, Thailand, and where I am with the people. So what's happening with the sovereign movement? Are they ready?
So you are sending the question to me for Romania or United States, Canada?
I'm sending it to you, yeah, because obviously you keep an eye on what's going on with sovereign movements and everything.
Yeah. So I was a little bit more concentrated for Romania, even that right now I'm temporarily living in the United States for the summertime, because Rick George is there, and also because the people from there, they started to come forward, and practically they are coming also the people that they work for the government, and also the people inside of the military, or the people that they were involved in the past in the military, but they have a lot of contacts, and they are very, very interested on GPMS.org. And right now they started to discover. So also in Romania and everywhere in the world, so we have a translation problem. And I would like to have Michael on the call to hear that, because we'll need them to move through AI a lot, because it's very hard to translate everything, like after we have the recording, and after that to start to process the video and to translate. So it will be great, and practically even that it is inserted by Lee on YouTube, it's never giving us a very good translation. So I do understand right now that we have another kind of the AI that may help more and can help during the time. For example, you can have on the call people speaking different language, and they are able to translate directly, and the message will come very differently in the future. So I'm also, this will be great if our IT team will start to work also on that, because we need to bring them inside of our calls, because this all the time separated calls. So I'm not saying that I'm not enough there for GPMS, and even that I know a lot from GPMS and I can share, but still for many people are still things that are not very clear. Like, for example, they believe that their mentality to share everything, it's not inside of GPMS. No, it is. Practically that everybody will have like an equal part or something like that. Everything, all the earth is for everyone. So even that we share.
The first decree
Yes,
says everybody is born sovereign, equal, and free. Equal.
yes,
Everybody.
yes.
In fact, at the beginning it says equal. So
Yes, Lee, but the problem with this eagle that we have inside of the pyramid, that inside of the constitution of the pyramid constitution, that we are equal and practically others are above all the time. We have the oligarchy there. So the people understand we are equal, but they are still they do not see the oligarchy system that practically they are not equal. So
no,
it's
I get, but again, I'm not trying to jump in. I get that there is a negation inside the consciousness because they see what they want to see. But that's not something that will change until they're willing to see something that is there.
Yeah, but practically to try to bring them inside of GPMS, directly speaking with Lee, Enrique, Mariana, and Dean and everyone. So will be great because only me there, even that I share the message, it's like you are Romanian, it's like you are thinking on the same way. So maybe they will pay more attention on somebody from another part of the world will say something, even that it's saying the same thing as I'm saying. And another problem that I experienced on the last time, it was this duality. The people think that the duality exists, that God allows the evil to have his place on earth, and the free will, it's the will to choose between God and evil, and you can choose evil to follow. And practically this is given. And why we have right now the universal natural law that will say no to evil and will let only God's system to be in place. So this is something because their thinking it's oriented towards the idea that evil should exist. So evil has the place on this world. No, has not, and never had. And this is inside of the pure universal natural law. So this were the discussion also with the people that they work for the government and they are interested on GPMS and they wanted to move forward. But this is like for them a little bit of discrepancy. What we are really doing inside of the GPMS, that right now evil will be not inside of the system. And so for them it was like also the aspect of the religion involved, and this is the word decision, or so yeah. So practically they are on the way to question. They are interested enough in order to gather physically in meetings, and even that they drive right now a couple of some hundreds kilometers. For them it's an important meeting to be there. So, and it's also linked with the ascension, because part of them, they are very interested on the ascension subject. And it's also linked with the healing through the energy, because they also will want to be more, will want to have a system or somebody in place that practically can make like a cleanup for themselves as energetically, as having good energy around and everything, positive energy. So I may say GPMS, it's complete. So we touch every aspect, not only food, not only ascension, not only power, who has the power, or the people power, or the oligarchy system, not only. So we, inside of GPMS, the people started to see a lot happening already, and they started to be interested by these things that practically are inside of GPMS, like ascension, like good energy, like this duality. They started to question also the duality right now, and why another system could offer me a system that it's only God inside, and it is my God or it is another God, or so we are there, but they are interested to the point to drive hundreds of kilometers to be together and to speak.
Just on that note of translation, obviously here there's a lot of people in Indonesia that can't even read. So at the moment I am putting the website onto laminated paper in Indonesian. So whenever I do find others that can read to others, but I also had an idea of which I am putting into play right now, where I've listened to some of Lee's videos and Mariana's videos of the presentation they did to the people, but I've also wrote some words the way I would present it to him. And the idea I've done is I'm going to put it in my notes on my phone. And then when I'm with an individual, I've got my boom box. And if I need to present to a few people around me, I'll put the writing into Google Translate and just let it read it out, you know. And I'm going to see if that works. I can't think of any other idea when people can't read or the language barrier is a bit of a problem, but I've already got a presentation pretty much done, you know what I mean, to try and get the key points to whoever I can with whatever language it is. So just an idea may work. I'll tell you if it works, because I'm going to put it to the test very shortly. Okay,
So
but
Dean, I try to make this kind of the translation, and believe me or not, when I see what kind of the translation Google offer, I am not able to understand what is there. So it's like,
wow.
and I say how they can translate so differently from the meaning of that is given inside of GPMS. Practically, I believe that AI it's a little bit set up on this capitalist thinking or something like, because it's changing. It's really not on the way of GPMS. So GPMS is something that maybe AI it's not able to perceive all the time. So the main idea is sometimes lost. So I do not feel that Google can help us, but not all the time in every moment.
Well, maybe I could make sure that that is the perfect translation and have somebody who speaks Indonesian make sure that the translation's coming off as clear as it's written in English.
There are far superior translation software out there than Google at the moment.
Well, Michael, if you could send me something that's absolutely fantastic that I don't have a problem with, that I can drop these notes in, because it really will help to speak to people that can't read and can't speak English. You know, I'm just testing this to see. I'm trying to think of a solution to the problem.
Yeah, Dean, I I actually did a couple of videos which were the same, which were taking screenshots of the website. Beautiful. Yeah, taking screenshots of the GPMS website, you know, with the summary of you know, what's on the homepage, see pictures of that, and then the counter, but also again the old versus the new page. And I had a music theme going over it, but obviously when you go onto the website and you pick the language, you can then do, I've done it for a few different languages, so it could easily be done for Indonesian, I imagine, if I presume that language is available on the website. So you could do that, and then you could actually, once you've done that on your phone, you could just find someone that could read that and record them reading it, and just have them do that for you.
Yeah, but then if I've got somebody to read it and present it, it's easy. I'm talking about if I have a moment and I'm around people that don't speak any English, I can still present it. You know, I'm looking for souls, and hopefully today has been a good day in regards to someone here, for them to bring it to their people. But at the moment, I haven't. And sometimes I'm trying to speak to people and they don't have any language. There's no English there at all. So me just having something in my phone to be able to present it. But like you say, if Google's not working very well, if Michael can find me something that can work, I could still present it to people that don't speak English. That's where my thinking is. I'm just testing it. That's all I'm trying to do.
Brother, let me just put something else to you. What are you trying to present to people who can't understand English? You can give them a card. You're planting seeds, my friend. You're trying to give a presentation to people that you don't even, this is in the future, that don't speak your language.
That's in the future.
But you're trying to deal with that now by saying, well, what can I do for these people? As if you've got to. You've got to tell them
I'm
what it is and explain it to them in their own language. I'm just saying to you, brother, just think about what you're saying with this. And if you're in Indonesia for a minute, but then you're going to be somewhere else and you haven't got these issues that you can see, a card with GPMS on it, and just put your thumb up and give them a wink.
Yep.
Love you, and give them that.
Yeah, no,
You can't. I know what you're trying to say, my friend. I'm just giving you a different perspective.
The flyers have been done as well, Lee. It's not just a case of I'm doing flyers and everything else, but I'm talking to a level of people can't read.
Well, brother,
so
they
what
also
else
can't understand you. So what are you trying to say? They need their
give
own
them a little
people
bit
to
of
give it to them. They need their own people to give it to them. So again, just this is where I am. This is what I'm trying to say to you. Those that can't read, how are you going to deal with the ones in Africa that are in the middle of the desert that have got no public access? Should we talk about that right now? I'm just saying to you, my friend, the issues that you're trying to overcome right now will be overcome by the people inside the communities that will reach those ones that can't read.
Correct. But that doesn't mean I don't have to be prepared a little bit.
No, it doesn't. But again, it's not something that you need to necessarily fix right
now. It wasn't fixing. I was just giving a suggestion to Beatrice in regards to the idea that I have if there's a language barrier problem.
Perfect. And hopefully we'll get something that actually clears that up in real time.
Exactly. But right now I haven't.
No, I know. But that's not And with regards to the sovereign groups as well, I just add as well that there's still separation at the leadership level in the West. But that doesn't mean to say, again, what we're seeing is that the leadership have still got some things that they need to deal with. And the rank and file, the actual people, are the ones that are falling away from those sovereign groups and looking for something else.
I'm actually seeing a few people who are got decent followers in this country now, really kind of focusing on trying to take their followers away from focusing on the negative energies and sharing all of the stuff, and the truth, and just focusing on the unity. And whether or not it's been partially due to my communications with them, where again I've been exchanging a few messages with them. I haven't actually had a chance to speak with them yet properly, but again, I've been focusing on obviously making them aware that without unity, that you've got nothing. And so I'm just seeing that on this side, which is good, and that's kind of also prompted me to start sort of initiating more of a move towards trying to get sort of groups organised. In the West, obviously, we're all very, very well dispersed out, which isn't great. So we need to get people online first to events to invite people to those events they can then find who's near them and then start doing like stand in the park type things that were going on. We know we're going on, and actually we're very successful in the UK with the whole COVID thing. But that's a way that people can start to meet physically there and build on that, because again, that's just going to help us work more effectively offline, which is obviously where it's going to start to really get momentum, I reckon.
We can build villages.
Yeah, and I've had a few people come forward already that saying that they would be up for helping do that, in their different regions. So I'm getting them to tell me, what country and what's, is their closest city. Just preparing them, saying we're going to look to do some online events and invite people there, and if you can help us, in your region and find others to help us in the region, then we can move to physical events. It's going to be great fun. It's going to be exciting, and this is how we're moving now. So so far so good.
Perfect, brother. And what we will see is the actual good the benevolent leadership and the followers are coming more towards unity. They're following the same common goal, but the other ones that have got more of an agenda are falling away. And this should start to be evident right now as the higher bifurcationary timelines within the ones maintain those that are speaking the truth from their heart won't have the implosions. So therefore they will continue forwards. Those that are speaking from a different level will start to fall, and we are seeing that. So what you're talking to is another confirmation of the same. But before we continue with Beatrice, Vidwan had his hand up. Brother, are you there? You wanted to do talk about a little bit of marketing or something?
Oh yeah, hello. I just wanted to bring up some marketing strategy ideas which I wanted to contribute in some way or other to the GPMS movement. So with my business, I use a marketing technique using Instagram mentions, and we scrape lists of followers from people who engage with local hashtags on to do with sustainable projects in certain regions. And the going market rate for like the actual cost effective price for me is below, it's practically 50 cents for 1,000 impressions from people who actually like that post or read into the material, and it gets around 100 website hits. So for effectively, I have a lot of server resources that I can contribute into growing GPMS and doing outreach in like small communities, maybe even like internationally anywhere. And it for a very like for me, it's free to do, and I can get 10, 20, maybe hundreds of locals in certain regions engaged with the movement and like all the bamboo stuff and the GPMS itself. I'm very excited to help.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah, we were actually talking. Sheldon mentioned it recently about doing some marketing, online as well. More actually, at some point, if there's anyone that obviously wants to put any money, if there is, obviously, if we have any wealthy people come along, of course, they could easily just donate any money they wanted to do that, and it would exponentially grow our reach, of course, if we do that. But I mean, yeah, anything that can be done freely as well at this point in time, of course, is just amazing because
I wouldn't. I'll have a conversation with you at another point, and at some point I'll sit down. We'll organise a meeting with Vidwan, and he can go into some more detail about what he can do that he can't do now. That I had to stop the recording for the other day because I did say to him, don't show any details of anything specification that you shouldn't have in public. And what did he go and do? I had to stop recording. So well done for not doing that to David. Well, that's improvement. But yeah, it's great to have you on board, mate. It's great to see you talking. And yeah, what you were just saying, then we'll have a conversation.
Vidwan, can you hear me, brother?
Yep. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, bro. Just on that note, can you teach us how to do that? So
Yes,
people, we can literally spend our time doing that on an hour a day, and we can all be doing that type thing. Perfect. Thank you.
around half an
Count
hour,
me in.
40 minutes to learn the method start to finish. And cost effectively, it's like under 40, 50 cents for 1,000 impressions from any level of targeting on Instagram. You could also scrape followers from lists of following people who are following related sustainable projects and movements. So you can get incredibly targeted pools of people engaging with your content and website and movement.
Perfect. Thank you. Count me in. That's definitely something I want to learn. Who's next?
Nice.
How you doing, Barrett?
Yeah, good. Thanks. Good to hear. Much love to you.
Perfect. Are you speaking to Michael already? You two connected already, yeah? Through Henry.
Michael, yes, we have on Telegram.
Perfect. All right. Beatrice, you had your hand up.
Yeah, so just a little bit an answer, a public answer, because right now we have also the freedom advocates that they want to hear about GPMS, but we have also people that they work for secret intelligence agency. So these people, the freedom advocates, they're saying, why, Beatrice, you are speaking with somebody? Because it's like, this is the government. It's like we had still pressure. We have a lot of problem from them. So first of all, when I share the message for the GPMS, I'm not asking who you are. So I cannot know. And even that it is somebody from the secret agency will do not tell me that he's working there. So everybody can come and can ask everything, and GPMS is transparent. And I have no idea even with who I'm speaking, and even that I will have idea. Anyway, I share the message of GPMS. So because right now the freedom advocates, they are a little bit afraid to be on the same physical meetings with the people from the secret society. So first of all, they need to know something that they were also in the past, but they had no idea, because the secret societies, the intelligence societies, they were involved in all the movement, all the freedom movement. And if right now they are interested to the point that they are saying who they are and they want to hear about GPMS, is just good, because practically what I was told that they are looking for to see what could be another system that is really good for the people. And this is just amazing. This is practically an amazing news that the people that they work for the government on the high position and even on the secret agency, intelligent agency, they practically they want a system for the people, and they like GPMS to the point that they share who they are and they want to participate directly in a physical meetings. It's just amazing. So it's not, don't be afraid when they are coming on this way, because they are not coming on this way openly. When they want to do something that is not good, or do not be afraid if they are coming, if they are very welcome, because GPMS, it's 99%, it's for all the 99%, and they are part of the 99%. They are not a Rothschild or something like. So if they work for the system on this way and they want to come forward with GPMS, and they are very welcome to come and share their experience and what they are looking for and what they want to do for the country, that we need to change the world country with the planet. I told them already. So right now they have to think bigger, not only for one area. So we have all the planet. This is the new story there. And they also need to see, all the people needs to see, again, I'm saying that GPMS, it's not designed for one area or another area from the world. It's designed for all the planet, all the people together. Thank you.
Beautiful. I'd like to just add to what you're saying, that anybody that does come from there, this is any intelligence agency or any agency within inside any government or any structures have no influence over GPMS, and nor will they. They will not implement GPMS. This will be implemented by the people. Anybody that turns up from those structures turns up as an individual only and does not speak to any authority within GPMS or in the actual world or over anybody, and there is no such thing. So anybody that turns up within a institution that's already in a position inside the old system has no authority within GPMS outside of their own self. So nobody else is going to be implementing GPMS. They can assist as everybody else is here, but that is it. There is nothing else to that. So I just wanted to add that on top, Beatrice, to what you just said, which is perfect. Has anybody else, Vidvan, you still got your hand up, brother. Did you have anything else to say, or is it just still up? Perfect. Hour and 40, well, about an hour and a half in, guys. Has anybody else got anything that they would like to raise or anything else they'd like to talk to?
So just a little bit, Lee. So practically, they want also, the people that they work on the high position, they want also, because there are good people inside of all institution, and I'm not saying there are bad people, but I'm saying that there are people that practically they are attached to some crimes or something like. So the good people that they wanted to change something inside of the system and it was not possible, right now practically they are interested openly on gpms.org, and they want to move forward with all the people, as you are saying, as individual, and to help how much they can, because they realize that this is also a way to change the people in the power that practically were involved on these crimes, and they were not able to do this kind of stuff working for the actual system, because the actual system does not allow, it's designed on the way to protect the criminal on top. and it's not the design on the way to get rid of them. And so they were not able by themselves to find a way inside of the system. Right now, they just discover that a new system started to be created, and they want to participate and to be more informed, because practically this is their chance also, because they have the knowledge and they know who and how things were did in the past. And right now they want for these guys to be removed, do not participate on the position of power, to have a decision over the people. So they are coming with very good intention, and it just will be just a huge and beautiful meeting.
One of the interesting things, and this again, one of the freedom fighters here was told by the Master of Arms, or Master at Arms, whatever they name themselves, of the Senate buildings here, that even though he was holding a gun at him at the time, he said, "There's nothing I can do to help you bring more people." And this is the idea. So once the ones that realize they can't do anything inside the old system realize what GPMS, not only the benevolence that it comes with, but the fact that it is coming with the people, and that number starts to give them something that they didn't have within the system. Therein lies their power to change everything, which couldn't be done within the system. And again, we can come back down to the same things. Individual countries can't change. Individual peoples inside countries can't change. It requires a worldwide unity. And that's what GPMS is the worldwide unity and the worldwide choice. As people start to realize that the power of the people is well, it always was the ultimate authority, and that authority is in each and every one, not outside of them. And that equality is what we're speaking to on a worldwide global scale, or worldwide scale. Then GPMS becomes a simpler concept to see. But as you say, Beatrice, the more we get inside that structure that want to see something different, the more we get of the new ones that have got the skill sets to take the bits out of that structure that we are looking to utilize. So it's inevitable, and it's beautiful to see it happening. I know, Brother Rick, and you over there, well, you're involved in Romania too at that point. And I know it's happening there, you know, and we're seeing that breakdown of the sovereign groups over there on the unity. The same with the ones in Italy that we spoke with that are very involved in the OPPT groups, which are, again, a large group. And we've already spoken to, I know, Mariana, a few of these ones inside the OPPT group have heard of GPMS. Now we're getting more that not only just heard of it, but know it. They're ready for it. And this then causes that ripple through these sovereign communities who, you know, again, we could have anticipated would be the first ones, but of course there's other things ongoing. So we are seeing this, let's say, macroing the little bits that we do see. We are seeing a large shift, even though it's not evident necessarily.
I was just going to say there is going to be another big shift in consciousness. I don't know if any of you guys here are familiar with binaural beats. Have any of you heard of those? They've
been around for a long time, brother.
Yeah. Well, there's a growing awareness and movement of that now, technology that people obviously are using for you know, healing and stuff like that. But of course, what it's doing is it's for those people that are experiencing it more and more all the time, realizing that everything is energy, vibration, frequency, and resonance, and actually with what's going on now, there's like apps which are I'm getting an app which I can literally basically create these frequencies specific for anyone, unlimited amounts, right? And there's loads of people that are going to be sharing that with loads of other people, and it's kind of, I kind of recognize it as being the potential. For anyone that's watched the They Live movie, where the sunglasses breaks the frequency of hypnosis upon the people, so they can then start seeing all the subliminal messaging which they couldn't see before when they put the sunglasses on. That this kind of technology is actually going to have that effect on more and more people, because there's a lot of people in.
Quick word of warning there, though, Den, because I would just make sure that when you do that and you put that out, that you give a fair warning, because I have at least 3 experiences of people I know who I gave binaural beats to, and it took them too deep, too quick. And it basically just like unlocked a Pandora's box inside them
Really?
before they were ready. Yeah, and it actually ended up like giving them more to deal with than less to deal with. So I would recommend like keep the frequencies like not so intense straight off the bat. Yeah, great. I mean, I love the idea. I love They Live, and I love the idea of those sunglasses and that lot. But remember the 10-minute fight scene in
Yeah,
that
yeah,
movie
yeah,
that represents the struggle
yeah,
of trying to get people to wake up.
yeah,
But
yeah.
that's, you know, you'll end up putting them in a fight scene like that, just like, you know,
No,
I mean,
with all the best intentions. I've done it, so I'm speaking from words of experience here. So I'm just
yeah,
making sure that you're aware that that is a possibility.
let,
yeah.
let me
I was
just add
just
something. Let me just add
sure,
something
yeah.
quickly. Mike, what you're saying is you gave them too much too quickly. You can't do that, brother. They got exactly what they needed when they needed it. And
I know
even if
philosophically, but I feel better
not
knowing
philosophically,
before I do that, saying, fair warning, by the way, this is what to
perfect.
expect potentially. That's all I'm
Yeah.
saying, because
But
that's what
what
I witnessed, and I thought, and at the time I thought, you know, I wish I'd have just said something beforehand. You know, not that it would have changed anything, but at least they might have had a bit of awareness of what was coming. Sort of like when you get on a roller coaster, you expect that what's about to happen. Do you see what I mean? But it doesn't change the nature of what's about to happen.
Mm-mm. Well,
again,
obviously, oh, sorry, Lee, you were going to say something?
no, it's okay. Then the only thing I would say at the moment is the binaural beats, and the idea of that is changing anyway. The frequencies are changing, brother. So you give it to whoever you wish to.
What?
The only ones that will see it, the ones that will see it, are the ones that will need it.
Oh, no, no. I mean, there's obviously variations of this technology. This particular one, I mean, it's actually been adopted and becoming very much interest to normal doctors and stuff, because it scans the body systems and mind systems and the frequencies that people are currently deficient in and what have you, and it produces the tones and the audio for them at whatever point that they're doing their analysis. So the purpose of this particular app and technology is that people can run these reports on themselves or have someone do it for them on a daily basis, and it will just help harmonize them and actually improve like their kind of, you know, their emotional intelligence and things like that. And the experience I had, because I tried it out, I had the most incredible dream where I was basically in another dimension, in the sense of I was over in Borneo, where Mary's from, but I met her grandparents that passed away. But it was it was like a heaven on earth in terms of what I was experiencing. And when I met her grandparents, I was overcome with extreme levels of emotion about how important it was that we maintained and preserved this heavenly, beautiful environment that I found myself in. And of course, it could have had other like hidden meanings within that. You know, it was the most incredible dream that I've had in terms of that level of emotion that I felt, and it was very, very powerful. And I've seen lots of people who've been trying this out, you know, talking about their personal experiences as well. But yeah, it's not. I don't think it can be negative for anyone. I think it's only going to be positive in terms of the vibration and the frequency of how it works and what it's been used for. But yeah, anyway, that was a perspective that I had. I could see it, and somehow, you know, being just one of those other areas that shifts people a little bit more, taking them through a few more layers, you know, to then start opening up more to other things, you know, which they hadn't considered before.
Again,
just out of curiosity, then. Sorry,
go on, Lee.
Lee.
No, go on.
I was just going to say, just out of curiosity, is it going to help them to shift their consciousness? Because I know when I'm squirming and I'm in resistance of sitting down, I need to be a little bit pushed.
What it does. Yeah, definitely. Because what it actually does is, for anybody that's who's tried meditation and not been able to get past the compulsive thinking of trying not to think, not doing the breath work techniques to actually get them into that Zen and to actually start to really experience that. It actually helps you do that, because the tones, when you do it with the headphones, and they also have glasses that you can get to look at the visual side as well with different colors, that also adds to it. Allows people to block out that thinking. So again, it really helps with the emotional stress that people are experiencing, where they've got compulsive thinking, they're worrying about tomorrow, they're thinking about the past. It's bringing them into the present moment with their consciousness. And that is obviously quite a key area where all of us that have experienced meditation and done this and practiced this, whether we, are aware of it or not, would have had many shifts within our consciousness through that process as well. So yeah, I do think it is something that will have an impact, but it won't be able to be measurable, probably. But yeah, it's interesting.
Just to add something about the idea of closing your thoughts off, that's bypassing the thoughts. If the thinking's coming up from a past and a future environment, it shouldn't be suppressed by something else that takes your mind off it. It should be released, otherwise it's just being suppressed and it comes back up again when you haven't got the noise. But this is just again, meditation means whatever it does to whatever individual is doing it. It's a conceptual art, dependent upon what it is you believe you need to do in those moments to enlighten you in whatever it is that you've experienced somebody else tell you should do. Of course, all of this is actually inner work that comes from the inside without the external suppression ideas. But of course, there is a lot of externalized belief systems that say you must do this or that. Again, not knocking what you're saying, Dan, in the slightest, brother, but just giving a different perspective to what it is you just said.
Yeah, 100%. I think it is, like, again, in another way of saying it, with the experience of what I've observed with using it or trying it so far, and what I see anybody that does use it will find is that it's basically, it's getting them to tune in, go in actually in that moment. So yeah, of course, whether or not they're sort of then becoming more present in their day-to-day, becoming more conscious in their day-to-day movings, less than subconscious most of the time, they're already starting to tune into their body internally and the vibration of it. And I think that's where it's going to have some sort of resonance with them. So yeah, but yeah, 100% hear what you're saying, brother. And,
it's okay.
yeah.
Again, there's lots of belief systems out there, and there's lots of things to go into those belief systems to enable them, if you will. But ultimately, all of those belief systems will be released. So there is the kicker. All of these ideas and all of these belief systems are to be released as we harmonize with the inside, and the beliefs don't come from outside. Then the knowing does. And that's an internal process. But not everybody's on that spiritual pathway where they're going to go and do that. It's for the people that are looking for that, and they'll find it. Vidvan, you got your hand up again, brother.
Yeah, hello. I just wanted to talk about another thing to do with spreading the message of GPMS and the movement as a whole. What is possible to do at a massive scale and reach a large amount of people fully for free and with a short amount of time is essentially putting out hundreds of Instagram videos with content automatically given by AI, like stock footages based on what the transcript of the video speaks about. And you can release hundreds of unique videos on many different accounts every day in a short amount of time and drive a lot of organic traffic to the project in some like short form videos and whatnot. I wanted to just offer that idea and maybe get onto that in the next few weeks.
Perfect, my friend. Do that again, Michael, and that group, the AI group, and the ideas of this that's excellent. And again, I will reiterate what was already said. Glad to have you involved, my friend. Excellent.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
We're getting into nearly the 2 hour, or at least the hour 40, hour 50 mark. And of course, we'd like to keep these within that period. We know why. So is there anything, if there's anything more that we can speak about that's short, not sort of reiterating what we've already gone over? If anybody's got anything else to bring up, otherwise we'll probably call it bring it to a close. Are we good? Are we good? Again, I think we've covered a large array again from different levels of different ideas and aspects of this. And again, the call for unity and the call for common goals and the call for release of limitation and larger thinking in all of this is the standardized call. The common sense approach to a civilized society where everybody is free and run on their own autonomy is a simple idea. it just becomes complicated once the fears come in. But nevertheless, we are where we are, and it looks like there's things that are moving with regards to networking and other ideologies, and we're seeing some movement within the let's say what information is being available to us or what's being given to us, as being shown by a few of the comments in here tonight, a lot of the comments in here today. So it's wonderful to see. Thank you all so much, and I'll say love and light to you all, guys, and we'll catch up. I don't know right now when I can host the next one anyway, or when we can host the next one because of what's coming up. It may be next week, we may be able to, but I'm not sure. I think we've got a meeting in the Philippines that day, but it may well be the week after. So I try to run more of these on Sundays so we can keep them, because I think it's been probably 6 weeks or 8 weeks since we've had the last one. So thank you all so much. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Love and light all. As brothers and sisters.
Love and light and gratitude, brothers, sisters.
Love and light. Peace.
Bye bye all.